we hope to give you an experience of what it can feel like for your kids. When we say things like, we've done this a whole bunch of times. I mean, you don't say that maybe in so many words, but that's what it can feel like. And also to give you an example of what it looks like and feels like to count 3 times, count on, and use in relationships. So we're gonna do a little bit of work with that. What if I asked you, what is M minus B? Some markers. What is M minus B? Some of you aren't even sure what I'm asking you. M minus B. Somebody help me out. How did you figure, Wendy, how did you figure, did you get K?
Yes.
Any other answers? I mean, we had a couple already. Okay, K, tell me how you think about M minus B.
Well, I thought of it as the order of the letters.
Okay.
So M is the 13th letter.
And how did you know that?
How did I know?
You just memorized that M is the 13th letter?
Well, no. So my last name starts with I, and I know it's a 9th letter. So I went up.
So you counted.
To F.
You didn't start with A, you started with something you knew. Awesome, okay.
I knew B, so then I subtracted M minus, so 13 minus 2, which B is 2, which I got 11. So then I used I again to figure out how far away it is from 11.
So first you figured out what letter of the alphabet M was.
Yes.
Then you figured out what letter of the alphabet B was. So that was 13 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then what?
Then I got 11. So then I looked to see which letter was number 11.
What strategy does that sound like over here? How many times does she count? At least 3, right?
I counted about 5 times.
About 5 times. So figure M, figure B, figure the difference, figure what, then we transition back to what letter that was. Did anyone have a different strategy for figuring M minus B was K?
No, M and N are in the middle of the alphabet, and then there's 26 letters.
Okay.
So I figured out M was 13.
Okay, so you still figured out M was 13, yeah?
And then I just knew B was second, so I just said that was 2.
So then how did you figure K?
I just subtracted, then I had to count kind of
So
backwards.
again, kind of a figure this, count backwards. Still feels a little bit to me like counting 3 times. Did anyone start at M and go back a letter, back a letter? No, that would have been smart. Could you?
Katie was nodding her head, yes.
Katie?
But then it's early and I was like, what is before M? So I tried to do that, but then I
Counting backwards is harder than we think it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a whole lot harder than we think it is. So what would be the letter that comes before M? L. And the letter before that?
Okay.
Man, that would have been a whole lot easier, right? All right, we ready? Let me give you another one. I'm gonna find a marker that works. What if I asked you M minus L? And how about this time I'd be really nice? Can I give you a tool? Would that be helpful? Look at how kind I am. Wait for it. Okay, M minus L. Tommy, what are you thinking? Okay, anyone else? There's a lot of Tommies in the room. I'm sorry. How do you know, Tommy?
Because I'm going to subtract off of the whole group less 1 from M.
The whole group less 1. Yeah. You're going to get rid of the whole group B through L. Because why? How does that represent M minus L?
L precedes M by 1.
L precedes M by 1, okay? So it almost to me sounds like you're saying that there's some distance between these letters. What's the distance between L and M? 1 letter? And so the first letter is A?
The distance is A.
The distance is A? That feels a little bit different than what you guys were saying where you just removed 2. Or counted back 2. Finding the distance between L and M. Does anyone have a different strategy? Did anyone count back from M? L amount of times? No? Would you just knew this one a little bit better once you had a tool maybe?
What's the difference between?
The difference between them is a little bit easier?
And it would take way longer to go L distance back. Like,
L distance back?
Yeah, that would take a long time.
Well, plus we already knew that M was 13 because we said it.
That was helpful, that you already had an understanding of A, what I'm asking, and B, what the value of M was. You know the amount of that. Okay, you ready for some more? What if I asked you S minus O? My neighbor does the same thing. Belinda, what are you thinking back there?
I thought 2 different ways. If M was 13, we talked about that before.
Okay, so you're saying M was 13.
Because we talked about that before.
We're talking S and O.
Well, I did a lot of things.
Okay.
I counted, at 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
Okay, pause. So you said, I know this.
I know
It's
that
13. So yay, right? Like I have a jumping off point that's not all the way back at the beginning. Are we super happy when kids start with a number not at 1 when they have to count? Praise the Lord. Let's start with something we know. Here we go. So 13.
14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
Okay, boom, 19.
And then went back to O to see what that distance was.
Went back to O.
Subtracted back to O, so 19, 18, 17, 16.
19,
Uh-huh.
18, 17.
16, 15.
Okay, and how does that help you in any way?
That distance is 4 spaces. So then when I come back up, I count up to 4 spaces up and I got D.
Sounds to me like you were thinking about how far apart are these letters.
Yes.
A couple of people are nodding. Did anyone else find out how far apart are these letters? And you said they are 4 apart. And 4 means, in our language here, 4 means D.
Uh-huh.
So,
D would be the difference.
hey, did anyone else do what Belinda did? Find the distance or the difference between these letters. Did anyone do something different? Yeah, Nikki?
I didn't even think about putting them into numbers. I just started on S and said A, B, C, D.
Ah. So, starting
Start
here,
on S and go to R, say A.
A,
No,
A, the movement, A,
B,
B,
C,
C,
D.
D.
Bam.
Belinda, what do you think about that? I'm now doing the Pam thing, stand over here. She just said A, B, C, D. What do you think about that? Somebody just said, wow.
Yeah.
Did she find the distance between those? Did she find that she did find the distance between those? So same kind of idea of finding the distance between these 2 parts, but what she did was just count simultaneously the distance and the new representation, right? That was helpful. Did anyone start at S and remove O? Remove the amount of O? Because that's how you guys did this one.
It's just 2 though.
It's just 2. Taking away 2 is maybe quicker. All right, let me ask you about these. Let me give you just a moment. These are ones that you should know, like really quickly. We've worked on them a lot. Give me some answers to those. So, Sherry, talk to us about what, well, first of all, let me just have the answers real fast. J minus H is B,
H,
A. Okay, cool. So Sherry said I loved what Nikki did. So I'm gonna come over here. Sherry, tell me where you started. Started with J,
Yes.
and you said,
Then I jumped back to H counting, but same letter names, so A, B.
A, B. Anyone else do that?
Yes.
Lovely. And then you wrote down B, and then we started with J, and then what?
And then I went back to B with A, B, C.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H.
Right.
And so where you landed was your answer.
Yes.
Okay? And then what?
So J to do with F. I started J and jumped, hopped back to F. So
One.
A, B.
So A, B, C, D. I want to fast forward here to this one. Oh, hello. To this one right here. And I said to her, tell me about J minus H. And she said,
And then went all the way back to
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. And I said, for J minus A, you went back all the way? And she said, uh-huh. And I said, is there something else you could have done? And she went, oh, dang. So Sherry found a strategy that she really enjoyed. She liked it. And she did the same thing for every single problem no matter what the problem is asking. Did it work for her? Absolutely. However, what would also have been a really nice strategy for J minus A? Could you just pop back one? So there's just like when we did the count-arounds yesterday, and some of us just loved the idea of patterns. What happened when we found that the pattern fell apart?
It's the easiest problem.
We went, oh, what do I do? Sometimes we have to be able to step back out of that a little bit and think about what is the problem asking, right? Did anyone notice some patterns here?
If 10 minus H was B, then I just saw that they were all gonna, I mean, I went back and double checked them, but first I just wrote like B.
So there's something about 10 here.
Yeah, and so like 10 minus H was B, so then I knew 10 minus B, I mean, I guess the 10 doesn't matter, but then
Okay.
I knew that if J minus H was B, then J minus B was gonna be H.
Is that true?
And then I just did it.
If J minus,
all the
did
people
you
who
hear?
just
Did you
noticed
hear
that.
her say something and half the room went, oh! If J minus H is B, therefore J minus B must be H? What about J minus F is D, so J minus D must be F? Yeah. A couple other people saw the same connection. What might we call these in like number language? Okay, so these are some fact families. Awesome. What are these? 10 minus 8 is this 10 minus 8 is 2? And 10 minus 2 is 8? What is this one? 10 minus 4 is 6, and 10 minus 6 is 4? 10 minus 1 is 9, and 10 minus... I should have known these combinations of 10, right? What about this set? What should they all be?
Now I know the answer.
These are all teams.
They're all what?
What are these numbers? Letters, whatever. These are the what?
Teams.
These are the teens.
So really, shouldn't you guys have just known Q minus G? I mean, for crying out loud, it's a teen. Shouldn't you just know 13 minus 3 is 10? Shouldn't you just know 17 minus 7 is 10? Come on, isn't that just easy? Or is it possible that your kids actually think that what you just did when you saw those and they see 17 minus 7, it doesn't just jump out at them that it's 10. Not yet, anyway.
Comments about this experience? It's a little unsettling, isn't it? It's enlightening. Say more about that. Say more about that. Enlightening how?
It's helping me make relationships.
Okay.
It's giving me a different perspective to look at numbers and how to figure things out.
Holly?
I don't know, I find that I keep using different strategies.
Based on what?
The more that I start playing with the letters.
The more experience you have with the
more
letters.
experience I have, I just start figuring different things out.
We heard people counting 3 times, right? Found out the value of this one, the value of this one, counted back. We heard people counting backwards, starting at an amount and counting back. We heard people find the distance between some numbers in a couple of different ways. So the more experience maybe that you had, or maybe based on the letters that I gave you, caused you to use a different strategy. Holly, what else?
Yeah, I guess that's kind of what I was gonna say. It was enlightening to see that, like, I felt like at one point I'd like figured it all out, like I'd come up with a pattern, but then all of a sudden I'd have to go back, like this was a less efficient strategy, and I was struggling to, like, I wanted to find a pattern and wanted to make it easy, but it took me so much time, so it's interesting to think about. I was doing might in one time have a really efficient strategy, and then all of a sudden they have to go back.
Yeah.
So maybe once you own a strategy because you've demonstrated it once or twice, doesn't necessarily mean that it's fully, fully formed for you, based on when it's a change in the way I ask it or the numbers might go away. What were we gonna say, Kathy?
Yeah, you just kept saying, this should be easy, you know the alphabet. This should be easy, you know the alphabet.
I mean, we could sing song probably in different languages all over the room, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we have the relationship between the letters down, right? There's a lot of, my own kindergartner can sing song me all day long, 5s, 10s, and 2s. He doesn't have a clue what it means to skip count. He doesn't know what that means. It's a counting, like number recognition thing for him, and that's all it is. What else? Any other comments? What would it have looked like for me to help you form more relationships between those? Because I just listed out some problems and said, go. What would it have looked like to give you an opportunity to form relationships?
Having the numbers of the letters right above it would make it easier.
It would have been easier.
Yeah.
It would have been easier for sure. I'm not sure that would help me form relationships with you. It was helpful for a lot of you, yeah, when I put this up here. There were a couple people who were like sketching on their paper, like the alphabet, just to have that. And then when I popped this up, they were like a little bit more pleased. That was good. Well, a problem string with letters, what would that look like?
I guess you could.
Sure.
So, well, if like you were subtracting, it'd start with D minus A or something. And then
Okay, D minus A.
D minus C or B, I don't know.
If you knew D minus A, which is what? C. Could you then use that to maybe help you think about D minus C? Yep. If you knew D minus A was C, could you use that to help you with D minus B? How could this help you with this? Am I just taking one more away? So what's going to happen here? If I took one more away, what's the result going to be? Is it going to be one less here? So over here, we're talking about the relationship between what's happening in the first problem to then help me with the second problem. Do you feel how that's a little bit different than just going back here and counting 3 times or counting on? Yeah? Questions? Yes.
I wanted the numbers, or sorry, the letters to actually be in like 7 or 6. So there's 7, 6, 7, 6. And it wasn't
some organized structure so that you knew.
I can just, count by 7s at least. Get to 7 to G and then 7 to N, right? Rather than 7 and 6. It just doesn't.
So like we love 10s and 5s.
Right.
That's a little bit more difficult because there's no structure for where a jumping off point was. But can you find your own? Somebody, Wendy, is it Wendy that said, I know what M is because I'm experienced with M? So if we had some sort of need, I might give you some experience with a landmark letter. Lisa said, I know this is kind of the midway point for numbers 13, 14. So she had that experience. There's really no point, right, for this. But yeah, it's a really big move for us to give kids some landmark jumping off point for both the teens and the combinations. Yeah, Katie?
Would you still be, when you're bringing them up from counting to counting on, counting back, should you be modeling on that open number line, or should you wait till you're doing relationships to be modeling those problems?
So if I have kids that are working on counting 3 times and counting on, I'm probably still gonna be on a rec and rec.
Even relationships in single digits,
Yeah.
you're still in relationships up to 20, you're in a rec and rec. So it's really not until you do a whole lot of double digit stuff that you move to an open number line. That's a general. Does that make sense? It's a good question.
But would you start with like 1-digit numbers for an open number line, or would you just start with like 20s and 30s on an open number line?
Yeah.
How would you introduce an open number line?
Well, so that's a whole different, like we did it in addition, right? We're gonna give kids this giant experience to construct a number line. It's kind of a bigger answer than that.
Yeah, I was here.
Remember Hildy building the number line? Measuring the cubes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That.
so we're gonna
That's how we're gonna
do
build that number line.
a big investigation to build a number line.
Okay.
And to work out relationships between numbers. But here's the thing that I think that we maybe don't talk about nearly enough is that even when I'm on a rec and rec, small numbers, there are so many fabulous strategies that we're developing with small numbers, right? That then are gonna transfer, those same strategies are gonna transfer to the work on the open number line. So we're working on this particular model with smaller numbers and developing some strategies. So then when we trade the model for an open number line, those strategies are still the same. They're bigger numbers, they're a different model, but we've already developed those same strategies. Getting to a friendly number, using doubles, combinations of 10. If we change a model and introduce strategies and up the numbers, what's gonna happen?
All at the same time.
All at the same time, right? I forgot to bring that. I need to get that picture of the 6 things that we changed. I need that. We hope to give you an experience of what it can feel like for your kids. When we say things like, we've done this a whole bunch of times. I mean, you don't say that maybe in so many words, but that's what it can feel like, right? And also to give you an example of what it looks like and feels like to count 3 times, count on, and use relationships.